This is me while I was still in Rome, recording what I thought was going to be the intro to this video. Before I began my journey in Italy, I was not quite sure what story would emerge. I knew that my studies would be focused on the Mediterranean and the refugee crisis. I was eager to explore this topic as my knowledge on it was not that extensive. From my time in Italy, I became very interested in the lives of unaccompanied migrant minors. From the coverage of the refugee crisis in Europe, these children get swept underneath the rug. For the next 2 weeks, I would engage in studies targeted on the process in which unaccompanied minors are handled in Italy, their daily lives, and the roles in which non-governmental organizations play in their lives. This would unravel a couple of places in the process that could be improved. I started my journey with an organization named CHAZ. CHAZ is an NGO that has worked to help people with addiction, mental illnesses, domestic violence, and recently, unaccompanied minors. Out of the 10,000 unaccompanied minors that have arrived in Milan, CHAZ has only been able to service 800 minors. Most unaccompanied minors come to Italy to make money to send back to their families. Majority of unaccompanied minors come from Gambia, Egypt, Nigeria, and Albania. Before this experience, I would have thought that there would have been more Syrian unaccompanied minors. I was able to learn more by talking with Gabriel, the project coordinator for CHAZ.
Is there a problem with the influx of the amount of unaccompanied minors that arrive in Italy?
No, my opinion is the problem hasn't been, and it isn't the number, of unaccompanied minors. The problem is how we accommodate them and how we welcome them, and we help them. I would say in the process of their social inclusion.
What are the rights that unaccompanied minors have when they arrive in Milan?
They do have a right to receive first aid interventions, and according to the project we have designed throughout the years with the local municipalities, they are provided for whatever it is necessary for them to start up their living here in Milan.
How does the government help unaccompanied minors?
Well, I wouldn't say the government really help them. It is more up to the local municipalities and local governments.
Would you mind describing a program within your organization that was created to help unaccompanied minors?
Yeah, the main project is the one we have been discussing these days, which is called Sustainable Emergencies, and it is a project targeting specifically unaccompanied minors aged between 16 and 18 in order to, I would say, let them adjust to the Italian society and to try to trace the best path for their future.
In the future, do you see unaccompanied minors having more access to resources in Milan?
This is a tricky question because if I think about the actual local municipality government, in my opinion, the futures it is bright. If I think about the national government, there are many uncertainties rising up.
What happens to the rest of the unaccompanied minors that can't be accommodated by your organization?
Well, this is another tricky question because let's say that according to the availability of funds provided by either the local governments or the national government or the non-profit organizations, I mean, everybody is doing his best.
Right.
But this is not sufficient.
Right.
And there is a relevant percentage of them that I would say they disappeared, so
Okay.
they are not traced by the social services.
What do you guys need in order to help more people?
I would say we need more financial resources in order to improve the quality of the services provided by the multidisciplinary professional teams. In this way, we will be able to provide a better service.
After receiving a presentation by Barbara Lucchesi, a social worker for the Municipal Department of Social Policies in Milan, I was able to learn how unaccompanied minors are processed through the municipality. When the child first arrives, they must contact a police station. After they contact a police station, their age is declared by either documents that they bring or by the minor themselves. Only if there is serious doubt about the minor's age will there be a medical examination to determine their age. After this, they are given food, clothing, and water. Lastly, they are paired with an NGO, a structure, and a social worker. The problem with this system is that the way in which it operates varies from the process established in the Zambia law. The Zambia law was groundbreaking legislation for Italy because it was the first time that migrant children were addressed separately from adult migrants. Italy is the first country in Europe to pass a law of this nature. After the Zambia law, there was not supposed to be any more medical examinations of minors' wrists. However, after talking with a couple different social workers, this is still practice. So where are unaccompanied minors housed? Minors are housed in what NGOs call structures. These structures are apartment style, or in some cases, they are structured like houses. They have chosen to house the minors in apartment style environments in order to encourage autonomy amongst the minors. The minors are given weekly pocket money. The amount is dependent on the NGO that they are paired with. For example, one NGO gives minors €10 a week, while another provides €15 a week.
We are going to Kepler.
The social workers teach the minors where and how to grocery shop. A cooking, cleaning, and class schedule is constructed for the minors by their assigned social worker. The point of keeping the minors on its schedule is to again reinforce independence. However, it brings into question, how much time do the unaccompanied minors have to just be children? To what extent is their childhood preserved? It is important to note that when I spoke with any social worker, autonomy was emphasized. I was able to talk with 2 social workers from the organization Cooperativa Social Tudo Seme. Are they required to go to high school?
Sorry.
Are they do you have to by law go to high school?
Yeah. Allora, we are talking about the Italian law about the
School,
about the school.
like high school, to go on to.
It's so difficult for us to go to high school because at 18 they must live together, fuori,
Must go out.
And they must have money to eat and to pay rent and so they have no time to study in the high school.
What happens to those who want to go when it's full?
We use a lot of foundation,
Okay.
like Asnada. Asnada is an Italian foundation for culture that help them to speak Italian, make laboratory with them, theater laboratory, and teaching. Good question, because Yassine, Tunisian boy, arrived yesterday. He was there and was in Kepler, in Sputnik, and now is Kepler.
Oh.
Because always changing for different reason, for more autonomy, for a fight between.
Something I found alarming is the frequency of how much minors are moved structure to structure. This can cause the structure to feel temporary and may fail to make it feel like a home environment. A sense of comfort in the home may be important considering how the minors have been separated from their home country. However, at the structures I visited, the social workers acknowledged this by trying to make the apartment like a familial environment, by displaying pictures and artworks made by the minors on the walls.
You see other photo
As a college student, I was very interested in their academic lives. It had been mentioned that most of the unaccompanied minors come to Italy to be able to send money back to their families. In Western countries, in order to be able to adequately support yourself financially, you must go to college. After talking with a couple of social workers, including those from Tutaseme, the unaccompanied minors are not pushed to engage in higher education. This has to do with many factors, such as they are only responsible and funded by the government for the minors until they reach 18. In addition, the only classes that minors are allowed to take are Italian language courses until they reach a certain proficiency. This made me question, does this affect their growth holistically because they are not practicing other academic subjects? However, it makes sense that unaccompanied minors must prioritize Italian because otherwise they cannot navigate Italy. But it must be noted that there should be a solution to educating unaccompanied minors if they are expected to be successful in Italy. As I previously stated, the social workers do not push minors to pursue higher education because they only receive support from the state until they turn 18. A lot of NGOs feel that it is not fair to cut the minors off when they turn 18 because they are not fully developed. In addition, in Italy, though by law an adult is 18 years old, on average, people do not move out of their parents' homes until their mid-20s. NGOs are hoping that the state reconsiders this, and some have already started programs for minors after they turn 18.
Wait, who laughed like that? That's so weird.
A major theme that I noticed across the organizations is that there is a sentiment of assimilation when dealing with the unaccompanied minors. For example, CHAS uses a diffusion strategy to make sure that minors from the same country are not housed together. To ensure this, they spread the minors around the city. The reasoning behind this is that it encourages learning the Italian language and Italian culture. In addition, most of the social workers and those that work within these organizations do not speak the languages of the children that they are dealing with. So the only way of communication is Italian. This is a problem because when minors first arrive to Italy, they usually do not have any knowledge of the Italian language, which means they cannot effectively communicate. In addition, minors are discouraged from working for their own ethnic communities that have settled in Italy. Since the workers cannot speak the children's native languages, their own communities would probably be a great resource for cultural mediators. For this project, I really wanted to get interviews with some of the unaccompanied minors so that they could speak about their experiences in Italy. However, this was not possible because in Italy, it is illegal to record minors without the consent from their parent or legal guardian, and the unaccompanied minors had neither. While there are things that the NGOs can improve upon while assisting unaccompanied minors, it is important to acknowledge that without the help of NGOs, the unaccompanied minors would be worse off. During my time in Italy, it was apparent that the Italian government relies on the NGOs to handle the influx of unaccompanied minors that come into Italy. Throughout the 30-plus people I talked with from the NGOs, all of them seem to have great hearts. So I'm optimistic about the future of unaccompanied minors that come to Italy and the needed revision of their programs.